Emotions are just information. So your body is telling you something is not right. If you go to therapy, you don't help the person. You shed a light on their problems and they need to work on them. And we need to be willing to do the work and also have to be very consistent, very patient, because that takes time. While you're developing yourself, the response from your limbic brain is 150 milliseconds. The response from your prefrontal cortex, the executive functions, is 300 milliseconds. Your limbic brain is twice as fast. So if you're in danger, something happens, your body reacts faster. You just react. That's what feelings are. That's what emotions are. It tells you something is not right. So when you look at even the internet, a lot of the people who talk about development and whatnot, a lot of them are single, they've never been parents, they've never had children, and they give all these advice. To what extent? How far are you going to develop yourself? To what point?
First episode of...
Would it be episode? I don't know. The Masculine Delusion.
The Masculine Delusion. So we're the mask killers.
Mask killers. Yeah, the mask killers.
I mean, look, I don't know about you, but I just feel like...
You feel
no feeling.
You feel like gone. It's a good start. Feel like that's the point of the video. Let's see if you have feelings or not.
We're the mask killers.
The mask killers.
The mask killers. Because I believe that most people, men or women, it's kind of like they have a full set of masks, and then depends on the day or depends on the people, or depends on social media and real life and relationships and friendships. Like we had the conversation early on. It's like, we know that that's not the case in real life, but because everyone just screams, men or women, in this manosphere,
it's
polarizing, then everyone believes that that's the case.
Yeah, because there's only minority on the internet, and then being Instagram or any other platforms, and that minority shouting all the time the same thing, and everyone thinks that everyone actually believes this nonsense. I mean, same thing back to where we're supposed to talk about is the men have feelings. Do they or do they not?
Do you have
logically?
Feelings?
I mean, I didn't think that a few years back. I didn't think that I have emotions. I didn't believe that I have emotions. I didn't believe that I'm capable of having emotions.
Is it because you were afraid of it, or is it because...
No, mostly not because I was afraid of it. Mostly the point at that time was it's a coping mechanism. I would numb everything and I would not think that it's possible for me to have these emotions. And not in a way that everyone is talking about. I'm not saying go in and spill your guts out. I'm not saying you go in and cry and, I don't know what to do and I feel anxious. And no, we all do have them. Letting them control your decisions is what we argue about. So you should not do that as a man in a way that you can... So you need to be able to recognize them.
What's the 5 things that you think men nowadays do wrong in this pursuit of self-development, which we both know that there's just a name that everyone is hiding behind. So they believe that they're doing this good thing and they're in a good journey. But in the end of the day, it's like...
Yeah, but self-development on its own, why are you developing yourself? To what extent? Okay? You want to become more masculine? Do you want to become more, capable and competent in what do you do? Because self-development has to have some kind of aim. Okay? You need to do it intentionally. Okay? Because let's say you're, a sociopath and you self-develop yourself, right? Were you becoming more detached from people? Because that's still self-development. Or you're very narcissistic and you self-develop yourself, learn to manipulate people more and more. That's self-development, all right? So when you look at even the internet, back to the discussion we had earlier, when you look at it, a lot of the people who talk about development and whatnot. A lot of them are single. A lot of them they've never been parents. They've never had children. And they give all these advice. To what extent? How far are you going to develop yourself? To what point?
Especially at that age, because I don't know what delusion they have to believe that they can help every man but what they say.
No, you can't help anyone.
But you can't.
Logically, you can't help anyone.
Like, look, at my age, I would say that I can help a lot of people because I've been through all this life I've been through.
You can be
but
example.
to a certain extent.
Yeah, but you can be example to those people. You can give him guidance, but you cannot help anyone.
Exactly.
All right? Even if you go to therapy, you don't help the person. You shed a light on their problems, and they need to work on them. And we need to be willing to do the work, and also have to be very consistent, very patient, because that takes time, a lot of time. I was like, going back to, I didn't have feelings. I didn't think I have feelings because I would numb them. Okay?
Yeah,
I will be like, you know what? There's a problem. Fuck it, I'll go and do it. Yeah, well, that's gonna hurt, maybe. But if I numb everything and don't know what actually is coming at me,
then you think that you won't feel it, but you wasn't aware that that was not the case because it will blow up on so many other.
Well, that's the thing. So because you numb it,
because you believe that, okay, I'm numbing this and I'm fine, and you'll be fine for the moment. I'm not saying no, but then
no, you have the perception that you're fine. That's the trick. You have the perception that you're fine, but you have no reference. How do you know you feel fine? You don't know. But then you have a partner. Let's say you're in a relationship, and that blows back in your relationship without you noticing that because you think you're right. So you have a conversation and you blow up in some way. I mean, I know in my relationship at the time, I would just have short temper. Okay, but I would not contribute that to my personality. I would not contribute that. I wouldn't be like admitting, oh, you know what, I'm fucked up and I'm acting this way. I'll be like, you know what, I've been triggered by that person. So she's pushing my buttons. But where am I in that situation? Where's my agency in that situation? Because I don't recognize what's happening, what's triggering it. And I think that I don't have these emotions.
But those
they're
emotions
still there.
Exist.
But they're still there. So emotions are just information. That's it. They're not. What we're trying to confuse is we're trying today, talking about the 5 things about man, what we're trying today to do is, you know what, men are emotional. They need to take their emotions, out. They need to talk about them. Now, are there facts? They're not. Emotions are just information. So your body is telling you something. Something is not right. That doesn't mean you go in and say, oh, you know what, now I feel this way and I can't do anything.
Yeah.
That's you excusing yourself. So you're not taking responsibility or accountability for it. You don't do and share them openly to everyone. You just have to process that. It comes in, gives you some information, you process it. Okay, this could be this, could be that. Everyone knows themselves. I can't tell you, if you feel anxious at the moment for a specific thing, I cannot give you an answer because that's rooted deep in something else. Trauma, need for validation, many other things.
Yeah, because I had a conversation yesterday and it's like we all have that on a daily basis. But it's like,
would you respond to everything?
No,
that's the
of course
thing.
not.
It would go through you.
You let them, you
exactly.
filter them, and
they
then
come in.
You do what you're supposed to.
It's a signal. It says to you, something is not right. What is a gut feeling? It's exactly the same thing. It's a signal. Your body is sending a signal.
What is the gut feeling? What are you eating?
Yeah, well, that's a different conversation. It's the vagus nerve, and there's the axis, and this and the other. There's so many things happening. But that's a signal. Your body is giving a signal because the way we're wired, our limbic brain, is a lot faster than recently I've read. And your limbic brain, the response from your limbic brain is 150 milliseconds. The response from your prefrontal cortex, the executive functions, is 300 milliseconds. So your limbic brain is twice as fast. So if you're in danger, something happens, your body reacts faster, twice as fast as you rationalize or intellectualize it. So something's happening, your body reacts. Fight or flight and whatnot, there's many, many things. Your amygdala is fast. So you just react. That's what feelings are. That's what emotions are. It tells you something is not right. It's up to you what you do with that information, though. You don't go, oh, something is not right, I'm not doing it. You don't do that. It's like, there's information. What am I doing with that information? You don't break down and fall apart. Or in a relationship, that's the very common thing we talk about. What do you do in a relationship? You don't go home because your partner is looking up to you. You don't go home and say, babe, today I was at work and there was this problem. You know what? I don't know what to do. And I almost cried in front of everyone. I'm like, I don't know how to deal with it. And she's like, babe, I really understand you. You're like, yeah, I know you understand. What am I supposed to do? It's like, fuck, you're not doing that. You say, listen, there is a problem. I'm feeling something in my gut. I don't trust this person. There is a problem. I need to figure out why. I don't expect you to solve my problem, but there's something there. There's information. What do you do with it? But it could be, in my case, your case, trauma from childhood. It could be, oh, this is happening and I feel less worthy of, yeah. That doesn't mean that the other person is looking at the same way. This is how I feel. Because I have this loop in my life, which I kind of need to sort out and figure out why am I falling in the same trap every time. That's what, I'm not choosing to be like that, understand? I'm not choosing it because when I was a child.
The only thing that you can choose is how you will respond to that.
Exactly, but again, to get to that point, to choose how you respond to that, you need to get to your prefrontal cortex, which is twice as slow as your limbic brain, because you react. That's it. It happens. You need to be able to just get that information in and not rush on a reaction. But as more you practice, as more you learn to be calm under these circumstances. That's why masculinity should be still and calm. It comes in. You don't go, we had that conversation. Andrew Tate is sitting in his bloody car. You don't understand. He's shouting. Why are you shouting? You're on your own. Why are you shouting? Someone needs to hear you. You're on your own. Why are you shouting? And he has it, even though
if you go.
What was this interview with him and Bonnie Blue? He was shouting half the time.
My view is very simple towards Andrew Tate and any of those red pillars. Andrew Tate is exactly the
he's not even red
byproduct.
He's I think he.
We're gonna cover this. We're gonna cover this in the next episodes because I have a lot to talk about that, and because I've seen a lot in the past, I've seen a lot now, and then if you actually look at Andrew Tate and people like him, they will go with the wind, and now he's.
I don't know where he's now because he barely pops up on.
No, what's the thing that they call when they have no religion?
Atheist.
Atheist.
Is it?
That's why he was saying. Now he's atheist. Now he sees that being religious, he attracts eyes. Now he's Muslim. I'm telling you, if tomorrow.
Yeah, but he smokes.
But that's what I'm saying. He doesn't do anything that the religion says. That's just for the, and that's something that I was actually thinking myself, because the more you grow, you gotta choose what you want to be. And I'm thinking, if tomorrow I say to everyone, guys, I'm Christian, do you know how likely my brain or in fighting? Why do you think all these fighters praise the Lord and this and this and that, and the other guys are Alhamdulillah? This is not that. The person doesn't. I'm not disputing that other are not religious, but there's a lot of them, especially fighters, which they're not religious and they don't believe in what they say. They are saying publicly because they know they're gonna have more people to join their brain and their
Yeah, it can
brand and their
grow.
name to grow, which is very easy. If I choose tomorrow, which I'm not gonna do, guys, I'm Christian. I'm gonna preach. I'm just gonna say,
But you see what
Lord
you by the way,
Christianity.
going back to that, think of what you said. Them becoming religious is very different being religious and actually being a believer. They're very different things.
Exactly.
Because
And that
religious,
just shows you what kind of person
exactly,
it is.
you can join a religion being religious, that doesn't mean you're a believer. A believer does not identify himself with a religion. You know, because being a believer, if I believe in God and you believe in God, but your God is Allah, mine is Jesus, still you believe in a higher power. Now, how you interpret that is a key. Now, you as a Christian believe that you'll be saved because you believe in Jesus Christ giving his blood, and God gave his son to sacrifice for our Savior. Get it? And then you, on the other side, as a Muslim, you believe in Allah and you need to do certain things to be saved, and that's the only religion. Again, this is different way of, it's a different lens, and it's the same thing. You look at life, you look at it through a different lens. Now, are you actually practicing what you need to follow the teachings of either religion, or you just say that because you want to identify yourself with this group of people? That's what most people do.
That's exactly
They don't actually. I see it around me. You know, Muslims, he go in and gets drunk. He has a bottle of wine. Yeah, but I'm a Muslim and I go in the mosque. I'm like, no, man, you're not a Muslim at all.
Andrew Tate, he says he's a Muslim. He
doesn't drink now, though.
You show me. He doesn't drink, but he does everything else. Smoke is the least one out of it. He does everything else that a Muslim does not do. That's not the point. The point is that from my opinion is that he's exactly the byproduct of the society, that he's screaming and shouting that this is it, but then he's doing exactly what this society.
Let's leave religion away.
I would put that's what
I don't know why we're talking about, but let's talk about Andrew Tate.
I will put Andrew Tate as exactly the problem as Bonnie Blue. I would say that Bonnie Blue is exactly the example.
They're both on the
how
extreme ends.
Women should not do or look like.
Yeah.
And by the way, she's a byproduct of the society.
Yeah, because they're on the extreme
and Andrew
end.
Tate is exactly the man that
we gotta move the microphone. Because it goes in your neck. Yeah. So
and Andrew Tate is exactly the man that all men should not be, but in the same time he's a byproduct of the society that he's shouting every single day.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna save you from the matrix. Of course, because both of them are gaining financially and everything else.
Yeah, they're filling some gaps, some voids. Yeah. They're filling the void which is missing. Going back to Andrew Tate, we're going back to the original where we started about the emotions and feelings. A while ago we had that conversation, and my view has always been he's only person he trusts is his brother. And the only person closest to him is his brother. And he doesn't have, as far as I know, and he promotes that he doesn't have a wife or a kind of stable relationship. I don't see it that way. And
he says that he's changing his hormones like his cars.
Whatever he does, it's his problem. But the only reason he talks and he really is into that hedonism will is because he's afraid of commitment. He's afraid of the pain that can bring you.
Oh, that's for sure.
Okay? Now, going back to emotions, can he sit in his own emotions? He can't. What he does is what I used to do. Numbing him and he's fine. He can numb all of this and be, I trust my brother because he can't screw me. If his brother screws him tomorrow, he's going to fall apart. Even though he talks how strong he is. Because sitting with your thoughts and all this shit you have,
It's actually
that baggage.
the work,
Yeah.
the actual work.
That's what vulnerability is. Being able to sit with all this shit and that baggage you carry, and trauma, whatever you want to call it, is the hardest thing. Because you need to sit and look yourself in the mirror and say, listen, I'm a fucking full of shit. And I don't like it. But instead you go in and brag about many women cars and all this. Why don't you commit? Why don't you? Recently there was I think you sent me the video about PBD, and Patrick David was talking with someone and discovered exactly that he had someone in his life, Andrew Tate, when he was younger, who destroyed him because he fell in love and then he fell out of he fell out of it
life.
and he couldn't cope with it. Luckily, he came out probably I'm guessing because he used to train, goes to training. I did not do any research on it. I haven't got a clue, but very likely having his brother around and him going to the gym and whatnot, he came out of that relationship and that heartbreak, and he said, no anymore. Yeah. And he goes on the other extreme. Now I'll use women. Now I'll do whatever I want. That's where we end up.
Yeah, it's kind of like a promise to yourself that I will never.
Yeah, because you don't want to
never let any woman to put me in this situation.
Yeah. I'm again in this box now.
I was in that situation many times in my previous life.
You're fucking 26, man.
I'll tell you, man. I'm 60. I'm just taking care of my body and my mind, and just keeping it young, you know. But yeah.
No. I mean, again, we all been
back in the days. I've been there, and I think a lot of men can find themselves in the same situation.
Not today, though. None of them can't relate to that because none of them don't have relationships.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Alright? Where you've experienced.
I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I think you sent me that podcast where the stats was showing that 50% of men are not even looking for a relationship, and then the guest asked him, is it that they're not looking for a relationship or they don't want to commit? And the stats is that no, they don't want or they have nothing to do with any woman whatsoever.
Well, back to emotions.
There's no relationship or there's no interaction with a woman whatsoever in their life. 50% of men.
Yeah.
How crazy that is.
Well, back to emotions.
And then we wonder
that's how crazy
why
it is.
Andrew Tate and all these people can bank and can exploit all this.
Wait. Okay,
young
let's
people.
say you're a young man today and you have entanglement with a woman, with a girl, and you find it hard. Whatever the reasons is, you can have traumas, whatnot, and you're finding it hard, and you break up. Who you turn to? Who are you going to talk to? The only way you cope with it is porn, gambling,
weeds,
any type
alcohol.
Of addiction to kind of get you out of that, because that numbs you. That helps you. Listening to loud music and all of that helps you to avoid any confrontation with yourself. Turning to all of that, or let's say you go to the gym. I'm going now and training. That's great.
Yeah.
But you have to be intentional. I'm going there, train, and I'm facing myself. Okay, I've done this in my relationship. All right, this is what I've done. This is how I should probably not behave. Maybe I can kind of tweak my behaviors, and there's many things you can do, but no one does that. And if I'm not accurate with my judgment, I need to talk to someone. Who do I talk to? Andrew Tate? He's not having relationships. You know, he's not even sleeping with women, but he has supposedly high testosterone. How do you do that? Okay? Let's say you have a high testosterone, you're gonna have high libido. What do you do with it? You go to the gym, fine, but you want to have more children? So you sleep with women only to have more children? Think about it logically.
Well, that's why he claims in every podcast. He's
because youngsters, I mean, the other way you do it is probably curb their masculinity they become more feminine, their testosterone drops, because if I don't challenge you, if you don't go and train, you're not challenged, life does not throw anything at you, and you're very coddled, your testosterone will drop, because you don't have to compete for anything. You don't have to do anything to attract women's attention. Because if you have to attract a woman's attention, what do you do? Think about it. What do? You start behaving oddly, behaving differently. You be trying to do things. That drives what? More testosterone, because I need to get to this woman. I need to mate with someone. But if you can't do that, you can't even approach a person, how the fuck you deal with it? What do you do with it? You go out, you don't talk to anyone.
That's where the other problem comes in. That's where the other side of masculinity banks and exploits again man. They making millions and billions on teaching men how to approach.
Oh yeah, the PUE bullshit.
Yeah.
Where you go in and you trick the woman you supposedly like, and she finds out you're fucking full of shit. Because you can sustain that for a little bit. You can learn few words.
Growing up as a man, we all do that at some point. It's unavoidable, especially when you haven't dated anyone. Or
but what is your intention? Let's say you want to learn some of these skills, okay? Or what extent? Oh, I want to have a relationship. Fine. Let's say that's the reason, and you want to learn any of the PUA shit. And you learn how to approach women, where to take them, how to talk to them. And that's the reason for you is I want to have a relationship. You need to ask yourself, that woman, who would she meet? And who would she have a relationship with? With that person you're trying to present you or not, so you can attract her, or you need to learn who you are, to understand who you are and all the issues you have, and how you can bank on the positives you have as a person. And you use that. So if you're clumsy or you're a nerd, you don't go and attract someone who is super attractive, who loves to be in the gym. You're going to go and find someone who is library like this or something like that. No one is teaching you that, because that's common sense. You can't make money out of that. You make money only if I tell you, you know what, this is how you do it. And here's the 5-7 fucking steps. All right? And then what do you do? But here's the dynamic between men and women. If you take this, she would act like that.
If I hear one more time, here are the 7 steps I've done to get to whatever. Here are the 5 blueprints, whatever they call it, to get to this. Buy my course and then you're gonna fly, or whatever stupid
No, it
shit.
doesn't work. If it works...
Well, unfortunately it works because there's no more common sense now.
No, it works to make money.
Yeah.
But it does not work.
Of course, for the person that gets exploited, from my opinion.
I mean, if it works, think about it. If it works, you go to therapy. All right? And the therapist says, listen, you need 5 sessions with me. If I'm therapist, I'm that good at it. You need 5 sessions with me. I'll teach you how to fucking get out of the trauma. No problem. You step 1, step 2, step 3, that's it. You need 5 sessions with me. Why no one is doing it?
No therapist in the world is first allowed or second will ever...
Yeah, because you're going to make money out of me.
That's what... Listen, I mean, I understand it helps a lot of people. I personally, because of the life I've lived, I cannot go to a therapist and be like...
No, I went to therapist. I went to become modern man.
I cannot. That's what I'm saying. Because I understand, conversations we have and conversation I have with my other...
yeah, but see, you have a support environment. And I think that's the biggest, kind of the missing link. There's no environment anymore. You don't have that support environment.
Yes.
You can't...
But that's where the hard...
No, I'm not talking men's group like we all cry fucking shit. But
no,
we're talking about men's group to even go and, I don't know, a boxing gym or anything like that, to be like, here, put these gloves. Get punched a little bit in the face. Oh, that hurt.
I
Yeah, how do you feel? Yeah, that's not, but I'll get by it.
I posted the other day and went something like this. In a boxing gym, you will find an ex bodybuilder, an ex drug dealer, a policeman, a judge, whatever
Yeah.
whatever thing is. Who in that place, no one's gonna judge no one, and everyone gets along.
Yeah, until they get out on the street and everyone's catching.
And
the
that's
other person.
another story. But the point is that someone who's breaking the law, someone who's supposedly protecting the law, someone who has nothing to do with the law.
Everyone is a human.
Everyone, exactly. Everyone is human and everyone is a man there. There's no one against each other. Everyone's training, everyone's putting the hard work. They go in the ring, they spar, and they get out, and everyone goes on with their lives. And nobody knows anything about no one.
Do men have feelings? Do men have emotions?
They do.
Yeah.
Now I think that's the question: what do they do about it?
Yeah, it's just back to the main premise of this.
Because we both know that
emotions
numb them doesn't
are just
change anything.
information. If you numb them, you're not getting the accurate information. All right? What do you do with it is the key. Emotions are not facts. They're not telling you right now if you feel anxious what that is. They're not telling you. They're just telling you something is not right. It's just information. Because again, if we can pinpoint and say, if you feel sad, that's what it means. No, it doesn't. Because you are the person who knows what that could mean and what you can do with the information. But logically, does not tell you exactly what, there's no written script. Because I feel this way, that's what it is. No, it's just information. Right now, I'm going through whatever it is. Say you're going through a breakup and you feel grieved that the relationship is ending because you had potentially maybe an image of what this could have been, and you feel grief that's not what is going to be. Yes, that's a grief, but what does it say about you?
And now how will you let that grief affecting you and what?
Yeah, would you let it affect you?
Well, it will affect you either
Same
way.
thing at the moment.
I think what they need to understand is that that's going to affect you either way. Now, how much of that you will
would you let that affect your actions today?
Yes.
Or would you just get the information, recognize what it is, recognize it, and be like, okay, I let this going through me. I wouldn't be just trying to push it away because that's not the point. The point is, okay, I feel in a specific way, but that does not stop me doing what I do. That doesn't stop me go to the gym, talk to my children, or have a meaningful conversation with other people. I don't close myself out and be like, that's it, I'm fucking broken. You don't do that. Yeah. You're not broken. It's just an information which gives you some clue.
I think that's the first thing they need to understand. Now, the second thing, I believe, is habits. You need to change the habits now. Because because like I said, it's very easy to go into all this
does this
drugs,
information,
alcohol.
Yeah, but does this information push you on the wrong direction? Do you take it in and fall apart and you decide to numb it? Or you're, I can take it in. I can think about what does that mean? Is it related somehow to my life, childhood, trauma?
Most of the time.
It could be, considering 75% of the world come with some trauma, and there's trauma which can be inherited. There's so much to talk about that. But instead of talking about it and being the victim, I got this trauma when I was we know each other, which we one day will probably talk about that as well. But the life I had, it was a pretty shitty life, but I don't go in and, because my life was this, now I can't function. No, that's not how you perceive it. It's just telling me something which I need to sort out. There's
Yeah.
some loop I need to close.
I think it becomes from two mentalities, which I've always believed, even though at that time I couldn't articulate it. I was always thinking, I'm either a victim or I'm either a warrior. So
Yeah, I mean, some say instead of
I
victim,
already go through this life. Now, am I gonna cry about it and act like a victim, or am I gonna do something about it and I'm gonna come up with this strong person? Now, there's
but
only
still,
two ways.
both ways you need to recognize that something is happening. So you
I
don't.
believe we are. I believe
Yeah.
every single person inside the head, even though you're not talking about it, even though you can't articulate it, deep inside
Yeah, but what
your
I'm saying
mind,
is you recognize it.
you recognize that.
Something is happening. Now you need to take which stance you will adopt. The victim. Some say survivor, which again I can talk about, say, relationship
I
with,
think by
with a
an extent,
narcissist,
the
and I can
the
say
person
I'm
you're
a
becoming, you're a
survivor.
survivor.
Yeah, but back to this, I can say in my life I had a relationship with a narcissist, for example, and say I was a survivor, or I mean, again, every decision I've made, it was from point of agency. I had agency of my decisions. I own my decisions, like it or not.
You've made that decision.
Exactly. So could have
And
been.
you continued.
Yeah, could have been emotions. No, at the time, no, because I didn't let any of the emotions. So when I went to therapy to be a modern man, same thing. I've been asked what I feel, and I didn't know what that is. She gave me a big circle with whatever it's called. She said, "What do you feel?" I said, "No, nothing." She said, "You can't not feel nothing." I said, "No, nothing." What about a childhood? I'm like, I don't remember my childhood. Not because I don't have childhood.
Because that's what you're telling yourself.
Yes, because I suppress every memory I had. Because that's the way I cope. I numb everything. That's it, I'm fine.
I can
Right?
I can definitely relate.
Exactly.
To that.
So, I'm 50 and I'm fine. I'm doing pretty well in life. So my strategy, you can say it's good because it led me where I am today. Becoming more wiser, blah, blah, blah. Have adult children now, well-behaved. So I've done pretty well. Based on the coping mechanism I had, the trauma I carried with me, I've learned to cope pretty well. Now, all of those things which made me survive and get to where I am, been useful to me. But I did not take any of the information my body was telling me. None of it. Numbing, disconnecting, that's it. I'm good, I'm fine, I cope with everything. Any drama I had in my life and all the shit I went through, no problem. But how's that helping me to kind of feel more alive? That's the key here. Because in a relationship, you want to be able to actually feel something. What's the point to have the relationship, to have children? Like Andrew Tate, again, back to this. You just have children. You don't have, like, his stance on, you don't have to be around your children as a father. Listen, mate, I'm a father. 2 boys.
You kind of
Well behaved. You know my boys anyway. You kind of need to be there because when they fuck up, and if you're not there, they fuck up more. And when you come around, when they fucked up pretty badly, they wouldn't give a shit what you're telling them. About, you can't make them. You think that you can? You can't. You know my younger one? Go and fucking tell him what to do. It ain't gonna happen. But being around and being able to have conversations so he can really build his values, it is a key. Okay? If I'm not around, I'm not so sure he would be doing what he's doing today.
No, because we all make decisions.
He's a tough guy, even though he's just turned 18. He's a tough guy. He could have been a fucking drug dealer. Easily.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing, is it? Well, depends how you look at it.
I mean, I have a lot.
So what I'm saying is that he can end up in prison or
Yeah.
maybe successful drug dealer. I don't know.
I can have,
But
as a form, I don't know if I should.
yeah, but probably not right now.
As a former small drug dealer, I can tell you that you cannot be successful drug dealer. You either
No, I
end
understand. But what I'm saying is that not having that father figure, that role model, male role model, you can still do, again, go to him. He keeps talking about his dad. Okay, that's the hardest thing. He went through life and all of this. He didn't go to his funeral, as far as I remember, something like that. I can't remember exactly what was the situation. Or did he go? I can't remember. But what I'm saying is he did not let himself to go through that emotional process. Oh, I'm not emotional. I'm a fucking this masculine dude. No, mate. That's not what it is. Okay? My dad, the first time I saw him cry was at his dad's funeral. And he was this tough guy. He was just, yo, man, don't cry. All this shit. He was this tough guy. Okay? I saw him fall apart in front of me.
same
His dad just died. His dad was a piece of shit. Sorry.
same
That
as
was
my
the fact.
dad. My dad's
My
dad.
granddad was lazy as fuck. All right? My dad cried for him. All right? He was 150 kg, man. My grandmother, his wife, was fucking ruling the house. All right? My dad went in and cried for him. Fell apart. I'm like, whoa, wait a second. What's going on here? I was very young at the time. Today I can talk about it because I see through. At the time I didn't. I was like, oh, my dad cries. He cries. He said, men never cry.
You could not talk to my father for days when his dad died. I was 10, I remember. And my dad, my granddad, maybe that's where he comes from. He was a European boxer, European champion, like big boxer. And then he drank all his money, fucked up the whole thing.
How
He
sad
was
that
a
is.
drunk.
So
He
how
was a
sad that
drunkard.
is. You
was a
become good at
drunkard.
something
He
and you waste your life.
abused my dad and his mother and
Well, we talk like woke people now, man.
and
Well, I'm not looking for.
it's like now we understand, and they were not in a good relationship, to the point where he was homeless in his own home. So we have not seen our dad up until like few years when we start to spend. I remember when we was going fishing, he was coming like 2 years before he died, and then he got, again, he drunk. He was walking on a motorway. A truck hit him. He stayed in coma for 6 months, and then after that, from coma he never recovered. I'm telling you, and again, my dad didn't keep in contact with him for years. And when that happened, because obviously we traveled, we were in a totally different city from the one that he was staying in. He left us, all 5 kids, home. He took mom, and then they went there, and they didn't came, I can't remember, for like a week. But so we were 5 kids. That was normal for us. That was just normal. We were all 5 kids.
Yeah, but how normal that is when you think about now the way we parent kids, how normal that is. Today, we talk about, recently I was looking at, there was a post on LinkedIn and someone was talking about the OnlyFans bullshit. And how mothers, the 70% of the porn industry, and this is a woman who's saying it, not me, who is in that industry, are mothers. I'm like, okay, so how normal is, because they need to kind of pay their bills. On LinkedIn, someone posts, what do you think about mothers going on OnlyFans? And I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on today? What do you mean going on OnlyFans? Oh, that's the easy way out. So you're going to make some money showing your body. What exactly says about you as a mother?
And what exactly says
As a
about,
mother, what example are you giving your children?
That's
But
one
I need
thing.
to pay my... Where's the man? I need to pay my bills. Where's the man?
Exactly.
How is he involved?
That shows exactly.
Oh, but the man is kind of whatever. Let's say the man is shit, which is fair assessment. Why the man is shit? And how? What does that say about you choosing a man? What man you've chosen? Because you've had a child from that man.
And
Right?
from whose money you making money from? Other
Other
men.
man. It's just the whole thing is
Was
bizarre.
that saying about men? Was that saying? I can't remember who showed me that the stats that
We can talk all night.
last year. Yes.
Oh, look, let's talk back to the. Okay, finish with
Last
that.
year or this year, the OnlyFans industry was 7.7 billion.
No, 1.6 billion last year.
No, this year was 7.7.
Maybe.
I have the stat.
Yeah.
7.7. Or I could be wrong.
Whatever.
We need to have a look.
Yeah.
Actually,
But
let
it's
me
in
do
the
that very
billions.
quick.
It's in the
Anyway,
billions.
it was 7.7, and NBA, all the NBA players was about 5.5.
Yeah.
Now I could be wrong.
Whatever, I know it's more than
plus.
yeah,
Anyway, was about 2.5 billion more on OnlyFans. Anyway, yeah. So the point is, all these millions, all these billions on OnlyFans industry, where those money are coming from, 99% is man.
It's man. It's that. But why?
And then begs the question: yes,
We can
why?
carry on with that conversation probably another time. But again, back to the emotional side. So first of all, we all have them. Second of all, well, we are not the same. Men and women are not the same. And emotions are not facts. That's very important distinguish. We need to distinct that emotions are not facts. They're just information. Like everything else. You read something, that's information. It could be true, it could be false. But emotions are telling you something. It's many times you can compare that to a smoke alarm. Okay? Smoke alarm will trigger. There's a smoke. It could be a fire. It could be some idiot lighting a cigarette. Or it could be anything. Yeah. Now, it's there to prevent something of happening. Or it's already happened. Depends. Okay? So that's information. You take that information and you decide what to do with it. You look at your life. It could be, again, me and you, we're not woke, but we both work on traumas. We carry on with us. I'm even, hard to say it, I'm very grateful that I managed to see traumas I carry and keep going in the same loop, trying to close it with everything happens in relationships I get into. And I realize where I'm failing at. And that's because the signals I'm getting from my body, now I can read them. Before I would numb them and I would ignore them. Younger self, I would go into situations, no relationships, because I'll be afraid of committing. Because everyone lives in my life. And I'll be like, fuck that, I'll leave them first so no one leaves me. Because I was afraid of feeling something. The pain which comes with it. And for me, that was just forget about it. I didn't say what Andrew Tate says, I'm not dealing with them. Oh, I'll deal with them, but I'll be first to fuck off. I'll have a week or 2 or 3 or maybe a month relationship, so-called, and I'll fuck off. Because I can't commit. Because I'm afraid of it. Because they're going to leave me. And all of this stems from somewhere. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know what that is.
My problem was that I was committing to everyone.
Well, because you wanted more validation from everyone around you. Me, I was more avoidant. So I'm like, yeah, fuck this. I just disappear. And then on the way, you hurt people without realizing. Yeah. Because that information you get, you don't listen to it.
I think that's very important as a man when you mature and when you understand all this. It's very important to get in good terms with most.
You need to realize.
I don't know if you can with everyone.
Your actions
but you need to
hurt someone else.
Yes, you need to get in good terms with everyone you hurt. Even just, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
As long as you're genuine, as long as you don't try to invoke something in them, or you don't try, as long as you realize that I've treated someone badly, and at least the least I can do is apologize for my behavior, and that you did not realize.
all
Now,
depends
I don't
on
want to
the-
I don't want to go in that direction, like to walk in a sense. You gotta go and say sorry to everyone. You are who you are at the
That's
time.
not possible.
Yeah,
By
but
any
you
means,
are
that's
who you
not
are at the
possible.
time.
Yeah,
Do you
exactly.
understand? You're not.
And we don't have contacts with those people anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
So
know.
it's not gonna
A
happen.
lot of those women, I don't know how to contact them. I don't have a clue. But I do realize my mistakes. And today, when I have the conversation with my boys, I'll say that the way you behave in your relationship and the way you live, if you leave the person you are with, you bear the responsibility of how you leave that person. If that woman becomes more traumatized or less capable of forming a bond with the next person, it's your fault. End of story. Because the way you treat the person is the way you leave that person. I don't want, again, my elder son is in a relationship. I don't want that to fall apart. I'm the supporter there to make sure that both are accountable, responsible. What's the future? I don't know. I do think that she's a great person.
There's a bright future.
Yeah, my view is they have all the ingredients to have amazing relationship. Now, today's society would say, oh, men, the masculinity, you gotta sleep with. No, bullshit. You gotta be with many women, and what are you getting out of it? Or you learn what women are like. Well, if you have the right support around you, I'm pretty sure 2 or 3 men who have that experience can tell you what a woman like. All right? But what are men like? All right? We forget that part. I mean, I'm a man and I can talk about
we can go in that
a lot of men
conversation.
today are fucking full of shit.
We can go in that conversation for hours.
Back to emotions. What do you do with it then? Okay, you recognize them. You know that you have them. They're just information. Now, what do you do with it? How do you work with that information?
First, take responsibility. 100%. That's the first thing.
Yeah. Total accountability.
If you don't do that, you can't do anything about it.
Exactly. Total accountability. Yes, I behaved badly. Not that I know it all. Admit your mistakes. Right? And a lot of the times you.
Well, we already had a conversation, and you can agree that just admitting 50% is already.
Yeah, that's 50% of the work. Yeah, that's 50% of the work. You're admitting that there is a problem. No, again, I'm not saying be the victim, be the apologetic person who goes in and apologizes. There will be situations where you know you're right. There will be situations where, the point of a conversation in a relationship is not to point to the other person how right you are. So it's responsibility and accountability.
Yeah,
that's a very big part of it. And I don't think that therapy, for example, it's been talked about a lot. I've tried to be modern. When I went in, it did not work for me. I had negative effects out of it. Maybe because my way of coping with things in life is my way, and I have to come to these conclusions on my own. Maybe my childhood just, I don't know, it built me in a way which I know how to deal with. And when I go to therapy, it's just, I don't know, maybe it's not the right therapist. I haven't got a clue. I personally think that most men don't need to go to therapy.
I agree with that.
Support, which we don't have. On top of that, 70%, I think, if I'm not mistaken, a therapist is a woman. On top of that, a lot of them have a lot of issues. How do you get, they have to deal with their own issues. So it's just, you're going to someone who can't deal with their own issues and deal with yours. Come on. I think going to...
You're just I
to
think
support
you're
men.
just proving my point why I don't believe in
Well,
therapy.
I'm just saying my own experience. The way I look at it
This
is
is
this.
exactly what
I'm not
this
trying
is
to
exactly
prescribe
why
this.
I won't do it, because I know the outcome. Now again, like you said, maybe because of your childhood and because of my
You learn
childhood.
to cope in your way. So
Look, if you don't believe something, that cannot affect you. If you
I do agree with that too.
I was a magician and I was doing tricks and this, and most people were
You
like,
could have made yourself
wow.
more handsome, man, if you've been a magician.
Yeah, man. I worked that a lot, but no regrets. I loved it. It teach me a lot. I get to meet nice people. But the point is, if I don't personally believe in magic, someone can do whatever he wants.
True. Believing is
I
big
won't.
part of it. Believing is big part of it.
Same with therapy.
Yeah,
If
but I
I
know
don't,
what I'm trying to say is that we today need to talk more openly in a way that we should not keep normalizing therapy. I do not believe that is very, very helpful to a lot of men. Women, perhaps, some, I can't say I'm no woman, but because they're more emotional, which is a fact.
and
There's a
not
lot
a
of
bad
study.
thing, by the way.
No, it's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
To be a mother, you have to be more emotional, nurturing, and be more neurotic than the man to be able to
But that's what I'm
see
saying.
what's happening.
We need to say
Yeah.
that because red pillars and all this nonsense, they say it like this is a problem.
No. I mean, is feminism a problem? That's another conversation. Some
define
parts of
feminism.
it, but what do you mean feminism is a problem? You have the biggest feminists who are coming out now and talking about the issues in general, but same thing with toxic. There's toxic people. There's no toxic masculinity because masculinity is not toxic. There's no toxic femininity because femininity is not toxic. Just this is a paradox. What the fuck we are talking about? There's toxic people. Left, right, anywhere. Men, female, doesn't matter. They're just toxic people. We cannot just say masculinity is wrongly understood today. So emotions are important as information. That's about it. You open a book, you read, that's information. What do you do with it? All right? You look at it and you link the dots based on your life. We're both going to read the same book and we're both going to have similar and different opinions about it. Because I will look at it and say, this relates to my life and I think this is what it means. But the writer, the author of the book, probably had something else in mind. Same thing when you look at an art. Because you've seen it.
What's most important is to understand each other and not dismiss the other people's reality. Because like you said, I show you this phone.
Yeah.
I see the back cover, you see the screen. Now you're telling me this phone is a screen. I say, no, this is a cover. Now we can fight we can spend all day long trying to beg each
understanding
other.
is a key. But the only
Because
way,
I'd say we see the same thing, but on a different lens. I see a cover, you see a screen.
If you remember that one of the Hermetic laws was the quote central to Hermetic philosophy means that profound wisdom is only accessible to those who are truly ready and able to understand it. So there is a quote which is the lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of understanding. Okay, that's a quote from the I forgot.
The Hermetic principles.
So practically, if we talk and I don't even stop for a second to listen to what you say and I'm present, I would never understand what you're saying. Because I'm as the well-known way of or quote, you listen to argue, you don't listen to understand. Okay? So you listen, so you're ready to react to what the other person says. So you don't listen what they're saying. And based on back to the emotions, if you want to dismiss them, you can. If you want to numb them, you can. But to me, this is again the way I look at it, today, I would not wish to go back to where I was and numb them. I'd rather have them. If something happens, even though it could be heavy, it could be painful, it could be anything, because pain is in the spectrum, like everything else. You just sit with it. It's hard. You sit with it, but the more you do it, the better you become. The easier it becomes. You become more resilient and you're fine with it. Now, that information will give you something you don't pay attention to usually. In a relationship, a partner pisses you off. They don't piss you off, logically.
You perceive.
Exactly. So you project that back. Because every relationship usually is a mirror. All right? So that's the key. Now,
I wouldn't even use the word usually. I would say.
Yeah, but if you're oblivious to it, if you're ignorant, then it's not a mirror.
Yeah.
Okay? But the relationship is a mirror. That person who is honest enough, and that's the thing we need to talk about in probably the separate episode, but men or people generally should find people who they can trust and who are able to tell them the truth in their face and you don't get offended. Because that person is actually helping you out.
Who you can say
That's
that
why
again.
your enemies are your best advisors. Because the enemy can tell you in the face.
Exactly what they think.
They will tell you what they think of you, and if you're stupid enough to ignore it, you're missing important information. That's what it is. They're telling you, they're giving you the information.
Hence why they're saying, keep your friends close and your enemies even closer.
Yeah. So you can see they're giving you all of the information you need. They're your best judge. Because they will judge you harshly. Because they don't like you. That's what you need. Okay. Say, has he got a point? Yeah, he has a point. Don't get triggered. That's why emotions are. They get triggered. We can keep saying we don't have them, but again, if a man to man, we're getting closer, the likelihood of fighting is very, very high.
Yeah.
And why is that? Rationally, why do you go and fight? You're friends. Because you're in my face.
Yeah.
Why? Because my limbic brain says, there is a danger.
Fly or flight.
That's it. There is a danger. End of story. I might think there's no. Probably. But until I get to that point, 150 milliseconds and 300, there's a big difference. My limbic brain already says, man, there's a danger. You got to fucking protect yourself or closest.
Or, depends on the man. Or
exactly.
woman.
What is that? That's your body is telling you. It triggers your nervous system, your sympathetic system
kicks in,
and you're ready to fight. Yeah, but there was pointless. Yeah, I know. Do you know how many fights I've been into? And they were pointless? Plenty. But the guy just said to smirked at me and I went in and fucking hit the guy. Why? Because my body says, this guy is ignoring me. Or my body says he thinks low of me. I'll show you. It's like, what is that? That's emotions. It's feelings. They kick in, but men don't have any.
Bullshit.
No, we do. We all have left and right hemisphere. And they are responsible for logic and emotions. That's it. It's the only way you get to that is your prefrontal cortex is telling you that's the maturity. That's why supposedly, scientifically, men mature later, if at all.
If at all.
Brain development is usually slower in men than women. But that part, the emotional intelligence, maturity, is in the prefrontal cortex. It's not somewhere else. Okay? Everything else, like limbic brain and the amygdala, hippocampus, blah, 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 is a law. That's the later part which is developed in human brains. And what we do with these emotions? Where do we get to? Not going and spill them out. I think Australia they had this shed movement where men will go in, repair things together, and they can share life experiences. They can talk about those things. My missus pissed me off, but then you as a real friend, you wouldn't say, oh, she is this. You will say, but what are you doing? Oh, I'm not doing anything. Well, no one can piss you off because you're not doing anything. So you're part of the problem.
Well, I think that's where we come, and I think we can actually help men through the rare masculinity, because we can sit down and talk for days, for hours, for years, but then it's okay. Now, what can we do to help those men in need? And in the same time, because it's not like we get to this point and now we're fine. Like me and you were doing a constant work on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And it's a someone, I can't remember who said that the day you stop learning is the day you die.
Yeah, but you die.
But if you don't go with that mentality, which we can see around us on a daily basis, most men, unfortunately, they don't think like that. They and I don't know where they get this delusion from, that they get to this point and they don't need anyone to tell them anything, and they just know. And
That's
it's
the
just-
ignorance speaking.
yeah,
In most men, that's the
the
ignorance.
problem is that they won't grow any further from that. And then if you look, okay, how far did you grow up until now, where you think you know everything? And I can tell you names. I know a lot of men like that.
How would you feel knowing there's one of these think can't remember one of the books, but there was this famous quote. It could have been even ancient Roman quote. I can't remember, but you know that you know nothing. Okay?
Marcus Aurelius.
Maybe whatever we'll find and see.
He said, the
But
only
how
thing
would
I
you-
know is that I don't know anything.
Yeah. So when you get to that point in your life, it's a hard truth to swallow. Think about it. You think that you know so much,
But
and
then
you understand you know nothing. How easy that is. That's why consistent strive to be better as a man is important. And every time you get to another level, you understand that there's no end to it. Okay, you understand that you need to keep doing that, or you fall down. So one or the other. And becoming, as we all know, that men become and women are. That's simple truth in life. So women are born the way they are, attractive, this, the other. Yeah, well, they can. If you're not slim, you can become slimmer, but you can't become more prettier, because that's where you are. And it's biology for every woman. There is a man. Don't get me wrong. There's this that we think that we need to be this perfect creatures. We are not.
Looks is all about perspective, or how we
Of course. How
'Cause-
everyone's gonna have their what pretty is for them, what attractive is for them.
Yeah.
Because attraction
That's
is a
why
combination.
beauty and pretty is very subjective to
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah.
I mean, it's
It's a
completely subjective
combination of things. So,
to men and women. So what a man finds attractive to that woman.
well, the thing
that
we
woman-
know that there are specific things women will look at in a man. All right?
Yeah, well,
And they are not
this
related
is-
to any of the externalities.
The good thing is this is where biology comes. But again, I believe that most people, men and women, don't do their research, and they don't actually try to understand biology whatsoever.
But is attraction an emotional process? Back to the emotions. Is attraction an emotional process? Is
Or-
it a chemical process? Because
or
chemistry-
is it a subconscious?
well, chemistry is actually hormones are dictating your choice. That's what chemistry is. You're not conscious when you're making that choice. So practically, if we will look at the chemistry level, that we say, oh, we got great chemistry.
How about we do this?
What is that? What is that? That's emotions.
How about we do this? We end this episode with this question. We ask the viewers if they get to this point, because we know nowadays it's very hard to keep someone from start to end.
Yeah, we'll chop it off.
No, but If they listen to the
Okay,
whole
so
episode,
what do you think
we
is
will
going to be
ask
the
a
question?
question for them, and we would
What?
like to hear from you in the comments.
Which one? Okay, let's see.
The last question.
Is chemistry an emotional process?
Yes?
Because attraction, we talk about attraction a lot.
No,
Okay, you have to be attracted to the person. But you can be attracted as a woman is one side, as a man is
We're
external.
going to cover this in the next episode.
So as a man, attraction could be externally. Usually men are visual creatures, but what gets triggered in you? The chemistry, is that an emotional process? Is it that your emotions are actually making you attracted to another person? Because if emotions don't exist, we say the men don't feel and all that nonsense. If that's the case, how do we get attracted to another person? Is it just visually? Because if it's just visually, the moment you are with the girl, you just don't feel anything anymore. Again, feel.
That's my point. So imagine there's 100 people right there. Look at them and ask them your last question.
I need to formulate the question exactly.
Okay, look at them.
Is it, what is attraction? Is attraction a chemical process? How much of that is feelings based on feelings? How much is just logic? Because attraction is not logical. At least that's what I think. Attraction mostly is a response. This is a response from your body. And that response is emotional. Maybe. Or what people think. Do they think that attraction is logical and there's no emotions involved? Is chemistry between two people not an emotional process? What do you think?
Please let us know. And with this, I was Benny. He was Pete. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you very much.